people in New Zealand, Scott Ferguson, who's going to be a presenter today, and Rob Gadball, who's based in the States at the moment. It started about 4 years ago with the councils in New Zealand, and we got about 75 to 80 users up there with the councils there. And in the last year, we started the product in Australia, and at the moment we got over 20 users at the moment, with about 10 councils or 11 councils using the black box. So this is just an overview of Blackbox22, what it can do. If anybody is more interested, please come back to us. My name is Harry, or to Blackbox and let us know, and we will do a one-to-one presentation to any one of you. So just bear with that. This will be about half an hour to 40 minutes. That's about it. And I'll hand you over to Scott to go through the Blackbox presentation to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Hi. Thank you, Harry. Yes, as Harry said, my name is Scott Ferguson, and I am the senior software developer here at Blackbox Development, and we've created Blackbox22. And I said my primary role is to sling code, so to speak. It's the right code, and every so often they let me out of my box to do these demos and talk about Blackbox22. So I'm very pleased to be able to do that today, and I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to come join us and sit in and see what this Blackbox22 thing is all about. So conceptually, it's very simple. It's just a tool that's used to allow interested parties, surveyors, and so forth, who want to submit as-built data to the council. It allows you to do that easily with tools to facilitate that. It's got error checking to let you know that the data that you're inputting, the attributes for each of your features, meets the ADAC standard, so that when you send it off to the council, it's not going to be automatically returned back to you. And just hopefully it speeds up the as-builting process, because we started this ourselves because of just the difficulties with submitting as-built data. And so and that's where it all came about, and we've built this up through the years with a lot of with feedback from clients. It'd be saying it'd be cool if they could do this, if they could do that. And so hopefully we've got a tool here that's going to make everybody's life easier, and it's going to submit the data to the council in the way that they expect it to be submitted, and it's going to have some security around the data that's in there that you've had to error checking and so forth. So I think we'll just get the ball rolling here, and I'll just get into it, and I'll show you a little bit about the product and how to use it. So when you first cut it on, you'll get this screen here, Blackbox22, and you'll want to create a new project. And this is the new project dialog box. And so what you see here is you have different council names. In this instance, it's only going to have ADAC in there because it's just generating to the ADAC specification, and there are a lot of councils that subscribe to that specification. So if you're working for one of those councils and you're lucky enough to have the product, then there's nothing more for you to do there. And then you see project information. This is the standard information that's required when you submit an as-built job to the council, as far as the works approval ID, coordinate system, who the engineer is, and so forth. And so you should put this data in at some point before you submit this job off to the council. You don't have to do it at the start. You can do it at any time before you send it off to the council. Now, on this screen, you also have access to project defaults, and you can set this at other points in the program too. But here you have a way of setting default values for the different attributes for all of the features that are in the program. So I'm going to click that button, and it's going to load up the controls at the moment for what's in the stormwater category. And there's quite a lot of features, so it takes just a minute. You can see all of the different categories that ADAC have. So they have the stormwater, sewer, water, open space, transportation, cadastral, and supplementary. And for each of these categories, you have all of the feature sets that are in this specification. And for each of these features, you have the attributes or properties that are going to be assigned to those features as you generate them, as you create them, as you go along. And so if you want to preset some of these properties, you can do that. So you're not having to set every property every time for every feature that you create. If you know most of them are going to be 1050s, go ahead and preset the diameter to 1050, and if there's a couple that are different, change the one or two that are different, and so forth. And you just set your defaults for what works for the project that you're working on. So you can set that any time, and basically you just need to give it a project name at this point to get going. So I believe I'm up to demo. Now you see it's got a flashing light, so I'll go ahead and talk about the error checking the program has. So if you're doing something that doesn't meet the council's requirements or the program thinks that it's generally in error, you're going to get these error icons. And if you hover over it, it will pop up and let you know what's wrong in this case. Now, I've created other jobs evidently called demo, and you can only have one project name. Should I say each project name should be unique. So I'll just put an identifier on the end, call it Demo 5, and I'm good to go, and just click OK. So it goes away and it creates a blank project. You can see it's got category and lines, points, and polygon features. And so these will be the 3 feature types that the program can keep track of. And obviously that's going to be everything that's out in the spatial world you can capture with Blackbox. So I'll just get straight into it and show you how simple it is to bring data into Blackbox. So in the first situation that I'm going to talk about is that you've created, you've gone out, you've surveyed, an as-built job, and you have a drawing, and you have some attributes written down about that. You can, what's called layer mapping, you can bring that data directly in from the drawing and automatically create the features for that as-built job. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll just jump straight in and show you, then I'll explain a little bit about how that works. So I already have a drawing that has that I generally use for these types of presentations. And so what you see here is a little as-built job. It's got a little bit of roading. It's got some sewer lines, catch pits and manholes, and you see some property boundaries. And that also has over here a little bit of parkland, some artwork, and so forth. And so you can if you have a drawing like this, you can bring this in automatically. And we have an easy access icon, I guess you would call this, on the side here. It says import assets into the projects using mapping settings. And so you just click that, and it brings up this importing dialog box. And then you choose the layer mapping that you have. So you can have as many layer mappings as you want. And so if you're dealing with different sources, and those sources tend to have different layer names and standards to their drawings, then you can create a different layer for each of those different sources, or you can also just generate them into one big layer mapping file. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to use this ADAC presentation because I've preset this and I've mapped everything out already. And so I'm going to, you could either map the entire drawing or you can map from a selection set. So I'm just going to show you selection set. And so I'm just going to draw a selection window around the assets that I'm interested in. And click enter or right click, and then it goes away and it loads the entities from the drawing into the program. This doesn't take very long, and it'll pop up a message and let me know that it's brought everything in. So import successful. If I go back into the program, I can see now instead of a category, I now actually have 3 categories. I have some cadastre that I've mapped in, And these are these lots. I have the lots mapped in. I have some of the in the open space, so I have that landscape area to the right, open space area, and I have some of this artwork. So that's going to be this area here. It's mapped that in. And I have the stormwater. And the stormwater, it's gone through and it's picked up these blocks through the drawing that I've mapped those in as stormwater pits, and then it's joined those up with lines, so circular pipelines. And so that's basically it. So now I've brought all of these features into the program. Now our icons over here on the right-hand side, these can be different colors or different symbols to visually alert you to different aspects about this project. And these, I don't know if you can pick up, but they're slightly gray. And so gray icons mean is that you've automatically brought these features into the drawing, and you haven't actually gone through and looked at the properties to make sure that everything is set the way that you want it to be set. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just open up this pit 1. And when I do that, I can look at the properties for pit 1. And you can see another one of these error icons. So this pit number attribute is required by the ADAC standard, and it's blank. And so it's just letting me know that it's a required feature that I haven't put in there yet. And so if I were to click OK and leave this up here, if you notice this icon here, it will change. You click Apply, it will change to this error icon, letting me know that I have a feature that's in the program that something's wrong with it. Okay, you probably don't want to send this off to council, or at least you want to take a look at what the error is before you do send it off to council. And but to correct that, you just need to go in and find out the error and give it a pit number, click Apply. Oh, okay, so click Apply, and I've actually, it's got another error in it. And so I need to go back into it and give it a manhole depth. Click Apply, and then you notice that it changes to the solid or the darker icon to let you know that you've gone through and you've looked at this feature, and it's got no errors in it, and so forth. And so that's just a simple way of bringing the features into the drawing. So I just wanted to quickly show you another way of bringing features into the drawing. If, say, you don't have this drawing set up yet, what you can do, and you do have a points file. The surveyor's gone out into the field and he's created a points file. What you can do is you can bring those points in and you can map those in. So I'll start a new project up to clean this one up. So demo 6, okay. And so I've got this new blank category. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a points file, and it's just a simple ASCII points file. Okay, and then I go through at this point and I tell it what each of these columns mean. So I know everything in this column is going to be the description, but if it was something else, I could just click on the column header, then I could choose what makes sense for this column. It's just so that the program knows what each column represents, and it's going to build up these features. If I click this bottom checkbox here, create structures in the Explorer tree, what it's going to do is it's going to go through and look at these descriptions, and I've already mapped this up, and I said anywhere where you find a point description that says MH, I want you to map that to a stormwater manhole. And anywhere where you see a point with a description of CP, I want you to map that up to a stormwater catch pit. So just click OK, and it will go away, and it will generate these structures for me. So if I look, now I have a store motor category, and I have point features. And it's the same way here. So I can bring these in, and if I want to start building my lines up, what you can do is I'll just get a blank drawing that I have. One way to graphically start building this up is you can draw your point features now that you've brought them in. Right-click, draw all point features. Okay, and you have what's called council settings and user settings. Council settings are settings that the council has specified how they want to see these features brought into them if you're going to give them a drawing. It puts the drawings on the correct layer, the correct colors, and so forth. And so for the options, let's say I want to draw the point feature text. There's no polygon text, so I could leave that ticked or not. It will just ignore it. And here's the drawing scale that it's going to put it in at. I just want to select them all and generate and exit. So it's just going to go to the drawing, and it's going to generate those for me, so that I can see them in the drawing and maybe have a better understanding of what I have to do. So there they are. And I can move the text around. Now, I've just had the program generate this text automatically. Should I say I've had it place the text automatically. I could have placed the text manually just to move it around myself as we go asset to asset, but I like to just do it automatically because it's nice and fast. And so now I have my features in there, and I want to start joining these up. So what I can do is I can just open up, and I can edit this point feature. So I'm going to edit manhole 1. So if I think about this, this is the way I think about this. This is the story, okay, about manhole 1. Okay, this is the manhole. These are the properties that I'm concerned about. I scroll down. I got a few more properties here. And so I want to start joining these manholes up with lines. And so I have this tool here that's going to allow me to create inverts. And so I know for manhole 1 that it has 3 inverts. If I'm looking down into the manhole, it's got 3 pipes. 2 pipes are flowing in from the catch pit. It's got 1 pipe flowing out to the next manhole. And so I'm going to click this button 3 times so I get 3 inverts. Now if I want to, I can start building this automatically. I can come through here and I can select my pipes that I want to if I know what name they are. But if you can imagine that you have, you know, lots and lots of different point features and you're not sure which one it connects to, you can also do this graphically. So you can just click this button here, select the connecting point feature. And it brings it to the program, and it gives you a rubber band line from the manhole that you're talking about. So this is the story about manhole 1. So I want to say this first one is connecting to CP1. And so it's just automatically, see, it just so happened to be on CP1 to begin with, but the next one you can see it change. So I go to the next one, and now I want to talk about, find out about CP1A. So I click on it. It draws the line, and there's CP1A. And then this last one is actually flowing out of the manhole. So I change the flow direction. And I go to manhole 2. Okay, and so then I need to put in the depths. So if I stuck those manholes, I know how far down the inverts are, I can put them in here. Or if I know the invert levels themselves, I can put that in. So it's either or, whichever system that you're used to. And you want to, you know, update the properties and so forth. I'm going to leave these for right now. See, the manhole depth in this instance was filled out automatically because I actually put in the depth up here, and so it's gone with the lowest depth. To be the manhole depth, I can update that manually if the manhole is actually deeper than the lowest invert. So I'm just going to click Apply. And when I do that, what's going to happen is that it's going to create 3 lines for me automatically. Again, these icons are gray. It's because they've been created automatically, and I haven't gone through and checked the properties out for them yet. And since I clicked OK on this one, it's gone through. Yep, I've got errors in this one. I got a couple of required fields that I haven't done anything with. And so letting you know, hey, you probably want to take a look at that before you send it on. So I'm just going to leave that for now for this demo purposes. And I'm going to move on to the next one. And so what I can do, I can go a couple of ways here. I can click on this one if I want to, or I can do it graphically, or I can select it from this list here. So I want to do it graphically because it's such a big job. I don't know the names of the manholes. So I'm just going to click this and say, yeah, I want this one that it's connected to. And say, yep, so that's manhole 2. It automatically knows about the line coming into it from manhole 1. This also has 2 catch bits coming in, and it's flowing out to manhole 3. And so again, I can do this graphically. And for this one, I already know about this one, so I can do this manually. So just to show you that you can do it either or. And I'm just going to quickly put in some inverts. I'm just tabbing through here. Tab, tab. Okay. Click apply. And again, I've got some errors in here. I know. I just want to show you how I can fix those up later. And then I'm going to go to the last one. It's manhole 3. And it automatically knows about coming in. So again, I'm going to put this at 2. And this little error icon up here. And this says negative slope or no outflow to let me know that, hey, something's going on here. It's generally a typo, or it could actually be flowing the wrong way. So I'm just going to click apply here. Actually, I'm going to click OK, which closes the form, and that's the only difference between apply and OK, is one closes the form and the other doesn't. And so now I'm going to go into my my error report and just have a look. So we have 3 reports in Blackbox, and we're going to just check on the error report to see the status. And you can see that it's showing me that I have quite a few errors in here. And one way to get to the errors is just to actually click on the error here, and it will open up the properties form directly to that and show you where the error is. Yep, pit number 1, I'm missing this pit here. And actually, this is one of the features that we haven't gotten to yet. So I can make my correction here, and I can put in the depth 0.1, give it a pit number, and I believe it's missing this. Has a lintel, say, yes it does. And just click OK to that. And so then if I can refresh that, and CP2 should be gone from my pits. Yep, so it's gone. I know that I've finished that. So I'm just going to close this for now, and there's the one that I just did. The other ones are still gray. That's just a signal to let me know that, you know, I've been giving this demo, I haven't really been paying attention, or I've gotten up, I've gone and get a cup of coffee, I've come back, I've forgotten exactly where I left off. This lets you know exactly where you can start back up again. So I just double click that to open it up, or right click, and give it a depth, and click OK. And so again, I can select it this way if I want to. Or when it's CP1A, I can go straight to CP1A. Give it a depth there. Okay, I want to close it. So now I've left these errors in here just to show you what you can do. So you can do a group select. So if I select these and edit them, I can do a group editing. So I can give it a pit number. You probably want to make the pit numbers different, but in this instance, just to show you. And then I can change all of these to true. And then it lets me know that all these errors are gone, and I can go and I want to check on these two. And I'm going to leave that, okay? I just want to leave it with a couple of errors in it. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to go into my lines because it's telling me that I'm missing something. Cells, okay? So that's a required property for stormwater circular pipe. And so I'm going to go ahead and do all of these at one time. I know all of these pipes. They just have the one cell. So I click 1. And this is a way of checking, okay, so I've got another problem here. So if I highlight over this, it tells me what the error is. And you can see the slope is wrong for that one. So if I open it up, let me have a look. And sure enough, I have put my depths as being the same on either side. And so if I just change the downstream depth to be a little bit lower, click apply, and it's good to go. And so now I still have these errors here. I'm going to leave them. So now I want to send this off to council. Okay, my project is done. I can go file, send to council, and now I want to. So this is first. Let me tell you, this is a send to council wizard. Okay, so this is to simplify the process. Just make sure that you have all of these ticked, and you know that you're good to go. I'll show you what I mean as I move along. So the first thing you want to do is select the assets that you want to bring, that you want to send off to the council. In this case, I want to select all of them. So I can do that to put a tick by all of them and click generate. At this point, it's going to go through and it's going to check the rules for each of those features I want to send to council. And you can see what happened. I left a couple of errors in there to show you guys this. So you have errors, and some of them have been categorized as critical, and some are just warnings. Okay, if you have a pipe that's flowing the wrong way, that's just a warning. Okay, that's letting you know and the council know that you're sending them a pipe that has reverse flow or flat flow in it, and that could be a problem. But you also have critical errors, something that the ADAC specification has specifically said that, hey, this is a required property or something along those lines, and this project doesn't meet those requirements. Something's wrong. And so if you've had a read with this, it says that you've designated some of the areas as critical, and that please counsel this wizard, return to the project, and correct all critical errors. So I'm going to hide that. I want to do that. I want to just cancel out of this, go back to the project, and say, yeah, I've got a couple of errors. So I can just go into this reports icon, say error report, and I've got a couple of errors here. So I can just click on that. It's going to bring it up. I need to set this as a lintel property. Okay? Yep, I got one left. I'll make that one false. Okay. Refresh. Nope, no errors. So now it should be good to go. Send to council. Select all. No errors. So it comes straight to the next form, and I got my green tick. My 4-year-old son will be very impressed with that. I got me a tick. And I just click next, go to the next form, and this is where I can add additional project data. So you have image files, CSV files, DWGs, something that you want to send to the council, that you want to show the council. You can input it at this point. So ADAC doesn't require additional data at this point, but your council might. So this is the point where you can add it in. And just to let you know, down the development track, that there will be council-specific settings, so you can say exactly which council you're going to, and then it will say exactly what the project data is. But at this point, it's just going to be pretty much a generic, where you can load this in here yourself. And so I've got all that I need, and this is the project file, .box. That's the project file that Blackbox creates. You're going to send that off automatically to the council. So I'm going to click next, and this is where you package the council data. So click this to complete the process. Now I get this, I don't know if it's an error message, but this message to let me know that all that project information that we saw when we first started the program, that I didn't fill everything out. I was going to wait and do it later, but I forgot. And so now it's letting me know, hey, before you send this on, You've really got to fill all that out. And so it's just saying, okay, we'll open this up for me and give me those arrow icons to let me know exactly what's missing. So everything else looks okay, but the receiver, and it can be whatever council you're dealing with and the drawing number. Okay. Okay, it's happy with that. Now it's packaging in progress. Success, and you're done. So you just click next. You get your tick. You just click next. And now at this point, you're basically done. Here's a button that allows you to open up that directory to retrieve the zip file that all this information is in. And now obviously you can always go back at some other point and retrieve that data too, but this is just an easy way to get at it. So you click it, open it up, and there it's named the zip file, the name of the project. So I'm going to open that up. And you can see inside of it, this is what goes to the council. You got the XML file. This is outputted to the council specification. You get the box file. You get that project information PDF that's sent along with the council. So this is what the council is going to see when they first get it. They're going to open it up. They're going to look at your project information, and they're going to go straight down here to the error reports. Now in this instance, there aren't any error reports, like reverse flows or anything like that. But they're going to look at this, and that gives them a little bit of confidence right away that the project is good. If there's any problems, you're also going to have the ability, when you generate this send to council report, should I say the error reports, you're going to be able to add in comments. So if there's a legitimate reason why you're sending in data to the council that has an error in it, just pop that in there, and hopefully that's going to speed up the whole process of having your as-built successfully submitted to the council. And so that's basically it. And so you have your export data here, and you just attach that to an email and send it on to the council. And so I just click finish, and it gives me this little report, and click OK. I can print that out for my own records if I want to, or send that on to the council. And so that's basically how you do it. So I've imported data through layer mapping, and I've imported data through point code mapping. And just to show you how that's done, so it's fairly straightforward to set up the mappings. So mappings are located under Tools, and you have a couple of tools. You have layer mapping and point code mapping. Just click on layer mapping. And so this is the ADAC presentation. If you remember, that's the name of the layer mapping that I used in generating that. So basically what you will do, I'll create a new one here. Okay. And so now I have a blank mapping with nothing in it. So I'm going to start with those cadastral lots. And so I click on the cadastre category, go into polygon feature. And now I want to create a new one. So just click new and have asset lots, and then I can tell it, well, in this instance, there's no unit type of asset lot. It's just once, just asset lot. And so at this point, I can set the default properties. So for each time it brings in and maps to this particular feature, it's going to use these attributes or these property values. So you can map as many different ways that you want to and use different settings if you want to. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to open it up, go back to this other drawing that I have that has these lots in it. And so if I want to map, so what I would do is everything that I place into this entity box here is going to map back to that, what was it, to that cadastral polygon lot with those default properties that I could have set up. And so every feature that I put in here will map back to that. And so I just click the green button to add a new. And that little flickering, what that's done is it's actually gone away and created a copy of your drawing. So you're not actually manipulating the true drawing. If you look up here for the name, it's called _ editable copy now. And so I'll show you why in a minute. Because when I click on something that I want to map back to a line, I click on it, it actually goes to the drawing and looks at everything that matches that same layer and that same entity type, and it actually removes it from the drawing to let me know that I've mapped that in. So if I want to map in this drawing, I just have to make sure that everything has disappeared, and I know that I've got everything mapped in. So I'll show you another thing. So transportation, say we'll call them line features, road edges. And again, this has several different unit types that you can choose from, and of course the properties, entities. So everything that I map into here is going to be a road edge. So I guess that one. So that's going to be a backup. It's on the backup curved layer. It's an AutoCAD lightweight polyline, this line type in this color, and it's going to map that back in. So if I wanted to do something else and say it's a different unit type, and it's got different defaults, okay, infrastructure code and so forth, I can set those, and then I click on this, and I can say I've got another yellow line I haven't mapped in because it's still visible. And this is actually on the pavement layer. It's a lightweight polyline. Click OK. So everything that's on the underscore pavement layer is going to map in with this unit type. And you can see it's gone from the drawing to let me know that just about got all of it done. So I'm going to go ahead and do a pathway. And it doesn't have a unit type. And I'm going to map that in as a pathway. You can see it's gone now. And so there. So now I've mapped in this transportation lines, and I mapped in this cadastral polygon feature. Click OK to that. And so now all those features have been returned back to my screen because basically I've closed the that editable copy drawing. So now I'm back to the original. And so, and that's basically what it is to layer mapping. It's just as simple as that. It's a one-off thing that you need to do. The settings are saved, and you continue to use them. And it's the same way with the point code mappings. It's the same sort of feel for it. So you basically you go in and you set up, say, stormwater. You tell what asset type you want, what unit type you want. So for pits, you have manhole pits and roof water inspections. You set your defaults, and then you go into the code. And so I've set this up already. Anytime it finds anything SWMH star is the wildcard, anything after that is valid, or MH, lots S, or lot, it's going to map in to be a stormwater pit unit type manhole. And so that's how basically how I brought these in. These from the points file, it looked at MH and knew that that was a stormwater pit, and so forth. And so that's basically it with bringing things into the program. So I'm almost through here. I just wanted to show you a couple of the other reports that we have. And so we have new reports. There's a costings report and an asset report. So I'll just quickly show you the asset report. Okay, it's the project's called Demo 6. So I can select that, and it's gone through, and it's ticked all the features that I have, and just run the report. And then it goes through each of those features, finds out what are the properties and the property values, and displays this for you. So you can use this in-house for, QA purposes. We do have some councils that actually require an asset report when they submit their data. So they generate this, and then they have to turn around and include that into the zip file. So you can print this out as a PDF or print it out to your printer. And the other report that we have is called a costings report. And so this just goes through and looks at all of the different features that you have. And in this case, it's looked at, so it's got circular pipe. Since it's all RCP, it's joined it all together. And I got 107.6 meters of that. And so I can say, well, I know this is $123 a meter, and so my cost for the pipe is about $13,234. and it separated out the pits according to unit types. Now it would have separated it out by material types too had I bothered to bring in pipes and change the materials. And it's given me the quantity. I've got 4 pits and 3 manholes, and I can put in a unit rate for each and so forth, and it adds up the total. So in this job I only have stormwater, but of course for the other earlier job I had transportation and cadastral and so forth. And so those are the 2 other reports that we have. And so the other last thing that I want to show you are tables. And so if I open up this drawing, so I'm going to just quickly show you how I can draw something out. Okay, so I have all this data here. I just want to draw it out for myself. I can go generate drawing, or I can right click, say I just want the lines. I can draw all the line features, or I can do individually draw this line. But I want to draw everything, so I click and go in this way. So it's got all of these features that I have. I say I want to draw the point feature text. I want to draw the line feature text. I don't want to position it manually. I could. It just takes a little bit longer, and for the demo purposes, I'll just leave that out. I can say which ones I want. In this case, I want all of them. And I just want to generate an exit. And so it just goes through and basically creates the drawing and puts everything on the correct layer with the right block references and so forth. You can see it's got the line type that the council is interested in. So it's gone through, it's pulled the data from the project, created the line work, and there you're done. So now it's created this project. I can, like I said, I could have done this manually and placed all this manually, but I don't mind just going through and using AutoCAD to do it. If I wanted to sort it around before I send this off. Let me select it. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. So now that's that drawing that I've just done. It's just produced that for me. Now if I wanted to create a table, I can. I wanted to show you guys invert tables. Now you can create tables of any kind, tables of all the different properties and their attributes that you have generated in each project. So to do that, I go into the Create menu, go down to Tables, and then I have these tables that I have. I can always create a new one, but just for demo purposes, I will show you one I've already created. So just click on it, and now it goes through my project and finds the features that are relevant for this table. So if I go into, I can edit this table just to show you what it's all about. So this is how you can build a table, or you can edit it. So this is all the features that I'm interested in. It's a stormwater point feature, and it's just the pits that I'm interested in. And now I've built up these column headers, and it shows you what it's going to look like here. So, okay, I'm happy with that. And so then I just want to select everything and basically just build my table. So now it's telling me select the insertion point for the table. It's a good spot. And voila, it's built my table. And so you can see it's got the manholes and the invert ins and the invert outs and so forth. Okay, so that's basically it for the program in a nutshell. So I'll be glad to answer any questions. I need to, I guess, I'll pass this back to Hari, and I'll be glad to take any of your questions. Hari? I'm just trying to unmute everybody. Okay, guys. Well, I unmute you. Eduardo, if you're there, he's a technical genius behind this webinar. Eduardo, if you could unmute everybody. Brilliant. Almost everybody. Still got quite a few left. Okay, I'm just going to wait for everyone to be unmuted. I can still see there are quite a few that are muted.
John, talk to
Okay, so while there seems to be just a few left to unmute. And also to let you guys know, this webinar has been recorded, so please let us know and we'll be glad to get this webinar to you. Okay, Hari, are you there?
okay, so it's still hold up here.
I think
like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Hari may not be online at the moment, so there are still just a few speakers or so, a few attendees who are muted. But while we're trying to sort that out, I'll be glad to take anybody's questions if they have any.
Hi Scott, it's David Johnson here. Can you tell me whether you've released the latest version yet, please?
Yes, so the latest version for the ADAC would be 2.0.92, and so there will be another minor release coming out very soon, but all of the releases are out there. I mean, it just depends on which council that you're at. So, David, I believe you're in New Zealand? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So for you guys, there's a new release coming out either later this week or early next week.
Thanks.
There'll be it'll be specific to the Tauranga Western Bay area. There are some template updates that have been requested there. So that's just about ready. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just to explain to some of the other people on the webinar, some of the councils, especially in Australia, would vary slightly. So if there's a variation, we will release a different form of the program to them specifically, and we can do that. And we need to talk to you one-to-one on those.
Yes. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, one of the feature releases that's coming out in a future release is its ability to select your council as you're creating your project, so that if there are particular bits that the council wants extra added on beyond the ADAC specification, that the program will inform you exactly what goes on. Okay, great. So if there's anyone who's muted that want to speak, and please just type in to the chat bar. But I believe the rest who are muted, that you actually have it muted on your side. So just in case you want to speak and you're not sure, you would need to unmute that from your control panel. Okay, are there any general comments or any thoughts about the program, good or bad? Does it seem like it's a useful program? You guys for compiling that so better? Yes, Pamela.
Can you tell me, is there any councils in Western Australia using this yet?
Ari?
No, at the moment, no. No.
Okay.
But we would like some of them to use it, yes. No, not at the moment, no.
Okay.
We'll wait just a couple more minutes just to see if there's somebody else that might have a question. Now also, if you don't, for whatever reason, want to ask a question here, I know it can be a bit intimidating, please just pop an email to me and I'll be glad to answer any and all questions. It's just scott.ferguson@a2ktechnologies.co.nz, and I'll be glad to answer any questions, or you can send your questions straight on to Hari or anyone here at the team, and they'll direct the email to the appropriate person.